Iron sharpeneth iron, so a...
Oh no, it's not connecting. No way. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, baby. All right.
Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
Dr. Future, what's up?
What's up?
King Wells, what's up, King?
What's up? What's up?
Could I ask you a question, Pete?
Sure, Johnny. Anything.
What's up? What's up, Johnny? Mark Breton, Counselor Mark. What's up? What's up? All right.
Let's bring this man on. Rabbi Mike, what's up? What's up? Scotland Tuba, the Demon Slayer.
Hey, brother, I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with the great show you got going on here. Be blessed, bro. Keep on giving the devil a black eye on the Iron Show.
Hello, world.
All right.
Hello, Iron Show land. All you crazies that like to listen to Johnny. All you unique people, peculiar, strange people. What's up?
What's up? What's up?
You're listening to The Iron Show with Johnny McMahon. We're proud to have The Iron Show right here on Fringe Radio Network. That's FringeRadioNetwork.com.
Iron Show! Yeah!
With our dear friend Matthew Miller. Oh, Matthew, how are you tonight?
I am awesome.
Oh yeah! All right, we are down here, and we are having issues in the studio. Number one, I think first and foremost, is that I do not have my teeth yet. Oh no! So I'm talking with that horrible lisp. So we're gonna let Matthew do most of the talking. Number two, we can't find Rabbi Mike. He's like fell off the planet. So we're here. We went to add him to the. We hook up via Skype to a Skype gangster call usually, and then we go ahead and I tap that feed, run it through the mixer, and upload upstream into the Fringe Radio Network Icecast server. We're also broadcasting, simulcasting on Spreaker, and actually that's the only place we are tonight, because the Fringe Radio Network servers are down this week. So, anybody, if you want to promote this session, Matthew, go over to. I'll give you. I'll give you a link, and you can promote it here. But yeah, we're trying to find Rabbi Mike. We were planning on doing this part one of Judges. We're gonna do a series on Judges. And I'm pretty excited about that. And I've been in contact with Rabbi Mike until it must have been Tuesday. And Rabbi Mike was having some issues. He's got I can't really talk about it, but he's in a conflict with somebody in his life that's pretty brutal. Not his family, but probably the next worstest thing I guess a guy could deal with, and his life is he's in that perfect storm right now. So everybody could maybe right now, when you hear this, say a quick prayer for Rabbi Mike that this perfect storm breaks loose, because interactions with people, sometimes it gets pretty wild and pretty it's hard to know what to do or how to handle situations. So at some point, Rabbi Mike will tell you all about it. We'll kind of do a show about it. But now, right now, Rabbi Mike, he's having an awful hard time. So if you could say a prayer for him. I don't know what's happened, but I have completely lost him off my Skype contact list. I don't think you don't see him either, do you, Matthew?
No, and I tried doing a search for him.
That is
I can't find him.
That's disturbing. That's disturbing.
Yeah, that's bad news.
Yeah. Speaking about disturbing, I wanted to thank all the listeners for helping me out with my teeth. I am happy to announce that my plane leaves. I have my tickets. Everything is all set up now. So now I'm on autopilot. My plane leaves 2 weeks from tonight. 2 weeks and 1 day. I leave. I get on a Boeing A320 jet from Portland to from Portland to Phoenix, Arizona, leaving at 5:20 in the morning, Sunday, March 1st. I leave at 5:20 in the morning, and get into Phoenix around 9 in the morning. Hang out for an hour, jump on a puddle jumper, little monster jet, little baby jet to El Paso, Texas, where I will get there around noon. And I got me a rent-a-car. I got me a nice hotel room. And the next morning, Monday morning, March 2nd, the Rio Grande Dental limo picks me up from my hotel and takes me across the border into Juarez, Mexico, where I'm going to go through a bunch of bone evaluation to see where the implants go, x-rays, and impressions for snap-in dentures. That morning, I'm going to be there half the day. Then the limo is going to take me back over the border, back into El Paso, and I'm going to camp out in the motel that night. Then they're going to pick me up again the next morning, March 3rd, 8 in the morning, and we're going to go back over the border into Juarez, Mexico, where they will put 8 implants in my jawbone, 4 in the bottom, 4 in the top, and then they will attach my snap-in dentures. It'll almost be like having real teeth, so I'll be able to talk without any... You do that so, those dentures are in there. You don't need to use any glue or anything like that. I mean, they're really pretty much like teeth. So the only way I can actually really speak well and sing well, because I'm going back in the recording studio pretty soon with my band, is to have dentures that are really, really in there. So I wanted to thank all the listeners. In America, it's about 15, 16 grand to have that done. But in Juarez, the whole trip's costing me $5,700, and 5,000 of that came from you listeners. And I want to thank all you guys so much. I mean, I don't even know. Words just can't really express. But so pretty cool, huh, Matthew?
Excellently cool. That is excellently cool. I remember back when, the incident happened where you required yourself to go to the dentist, and they told you catastrophic things that, there was nothing really they could do at this point. And lo and behold, the good dentist was unawares of the power of the Iron Show listening base. Amen?
I'm telling you, man. Oh man, it's just the people have been that have helped me out. They've been sending me messages saying, "Man, I love you, Johnny," and I always write back, "Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious."
Yeah.
I love you too, everybody. Thank you so much, man. So Now, I may be killed in Juarez, but I guess if I get killed in Juarez, Mexico, I guess that's my destiny. So be it.
Who wants to live forever anyway?
No. Yeah, who wants to live forever? This mechanic where I work, he just moved up from New Mexico, and he goes, "Oh, you're going to Juarez?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, man." Why? He goes, "Well, I'm from New Mexico right there. It's right over the border there, on the boot heel of New Mexico." And, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Well, yeah, you guys don't hear about Juarez up here." I go, "Oh, yeah, we've heard a few things. There's like cartel action down there and stuff." He goes, "Oh, yeah, but you don't hear nothing. I mean, it's in the news every single day down there. I mean," I said, "Well, what's it like?" He goes, "Well, cartel dudes, they hang out at the border, and if it looks like you're somebody they got a beef with, they look at the traffic. And if it looks like you're somebody they got a beef with, they open up, they unload on you." And
oh man!
I go, "With like machine guns and grenade launchers?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like,
Dude.
"Oh, dude." So
That's awesome.
I know, huh? I'm heading into heavy action. So
Heavy action, man. Heavy action. But they're gonna look at you kind of strange when you like say, "Hey, wait! I got a special a special request. You can kill me. I'm cool with that, but you got to chop my head off."
yeah. I want
like,
the chainsaw.
"What, man? What? Are you for real?" "Yeah, man, because then I get to like rule with Christ for like 1,000 years, man." They'll look at each other like, "This dude's not only lost his teeth, he lost his brains."
Yeah. The problem is, I'd have to be killed for testimony. I couldn't just be killed because they thought I looked like the gringo that ripped him off last week.
Yeah, but once you told them that, you get to rule with Christ, they'll know. So then they will be killing you for the testimony, man.
Yeah, hey, that's a good point. I would say, like, cut my head off, but cut my head off in Jesus' name.
Yeah, man. They probably look at each other like, "Dude, we want to hire you."
Yeah, knowing me, I'd probably take that option.
Well, the feds especially would kind of think something was up when all of a sudden all the gang members was wearing Iron Show shirts. Like, this dude's our hero, man. We went to whack this guy, and he asked special request to have his head chopped off in Jesus' name.
That would bring a whole new meaning to the Iron Show cocaine and Mexican girls thing.
For real, man. Yeah. I mean, heck yeah, they'd be like, "Rambo's got nothing on this dude."
I was on a Facebook post here a while ago. Face page Pharisees. And they were talking about the new heavens and the new earth. And I should probably bring up this post. I wanted to ask you about it. I was going to bring this into it.
Yeah.
This is sidetracked from the Book of Judges here, but I've got you here, and I said, well, I'm going to ask Matthew what he thinks. And let me see if I can bring this up here. It's it was about they were talking about it was a post that really was about something else that turned in. A lot of times it ends up turning into something different. And I said I saw a new heavens and a new earth. That's not necessarily proof text for my case either, but I seriously doubt an overall and following the complete replacement idea. Myself, I mean, I don't know, but I've always been partial to the new heavens and the new earth being actually like a new planet and everything, rather than a rebuild of the old, rather than an overhaul. So do you think, right off the bat, do you think I'm off base there? I mean, and why?
Well, off base and why? Well, I don't think you're too off base, because most people, they think that, nah, that's not going to happen at all, which is completely irrelevant, because that's exactly what the Bible says. I mean, I can quote it off the top of my head. "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven. Okay, let's just talk about this. He's being completely illicit in the Greek language here about what he's talking about. He's talking about the very first one, okay? Heaven and the first earth passed away. Okay, boys and girls, that's exactly what he said, and that's exactly what he meant. And you have to understand that this must be the case because he illicitly says the next thing. He wants to make sure to put the period at the end of this statement so there can be no more debate with whether he said this or not. He said, from henceforward there shall be no sea. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to try in all thou grandeur. I don't care if you're a geologist, doesn't matter to me. If you can figure out a way that you can make this planet mechanically function without the sea, well, you need to please send me an email with your dissertation on said subject. Because it cannot happen. It just simply cannot happen because without the sea, you need to extrapolate that out. Without the sea, you'd have no fresh water sources where there would be rivers because, of course, that only comes through the evaporation and the rain because all freshwater sources, ladies and gentlemen, flow to the sea. Okay? So there is absolutely no way life could be sustained without the sea. But when you look here in the Greek language, he's being absolutely clear with what he's saying here. He makes sure that he says Gaia here for Earth. He's talking about what he's talking about. He's not talking about anything else. And I'm sorry, the word here he uses for new, of course, kenios. It means what it means. You can't debate with it. There is no debate with what it actually says. And like first here, this is protos in the Greek. It's protos. You don't have to like it, okay? Because it not only means first in like the first one. The Greek language is so much more dynamic than English. That's why he wrote it in the Greco tongue. Because here, protos, it means first not only in order, but in place and time. He is talking about the space-time continuum when he uses the word protos. So, you can look at this any way that you'd like to, and just so everybody knows, this is in the Lima case. Of course, it is singular masculine. So he's being very pointed in what he says here. He's actually not debating with you. So if you believe something other than there will be a new heavens and a new earth with no sea, well, you don't believe God. Okay, point blank. And I'm fine with that because, Buddhist, they don't believe him either. And we can go on down the line. So really here, with this phrase and the way he says it, that's why he divides this up into three parts. He does this with even himself. In the beginning of the book of Revelation, everybody knows how he starts the book off. First, there is a greeting from God the Father. Next, there is a greeting from, of course, God the Son. And lastly, there is, of course, which one everybody hates, there is a greeting from the Holy Spirit, God the Spirit. That's why this is divided into three ways. He says sky, heaven, and, of course, like I said before, the period at the end of the sentence is the sea. There is no sea. It's gone. It has been eradicated. So let me just get your comments on that, Johnny. What do you think about what I just said? I mean,
well, for one thing, are you saying that this present Earth could not exist without a sea, so you would have to have a new planet?
Right, and I'm saying that, well, that's what God said anyway, so this one's out of here, baby.
Okay, my friend Charles, and I don't know how to say his last name, cool. But I guess we won't pick on him. We'll just call him Charles. You know who you are.
You know who you are, buddy.
Here is one of his arguments. He said, What is the whole theme of Christ's work? Redemption? No? Additionally, the phrase making all things new suggests an action performed with an existing thing, not the creation of a new thing.
And beginning with those that reside in Paradisio. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, they get transformed first. Okay? They get transformed first. And then we who are the bride that remaineth, we get changed. And then lastly, we of course get to have our nuptials with the Lord Jesus Christ. And then we are able to enjoy creation without the boot of the God-haters on our heads. And we're able to live with his personal administration for 1,000 years. And then the earth gets made new. That's just the way it is. So it doesn't start with creation. It starts with the bride. That's where it starts.
My thought was, Christ's work is all about redemption, redeeming things. But that doesn't necessarily have to mean that he redeems the earth. He may just make a new one.
Well, he does redeem it for 1,000 years, then it gets changed.
That's what I thought. Okay.
This follows the same course of reasoning why the bride must be taken into the wilderness. Isaiah, Jeremiah, good grief. Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings. All of it, ladies and gentlemen, says this. All of it. You can't debate it. You cannot pick on any book or any chapter therein to stand upon this lie. Let's just be perfectly clear one with another, Johnny. This is a lie. I just read to you what God himself said, and that is what's going to happen. There is no debate with not only the way he does things. This is an isochronal event. This is the way he does things. And he's told us about it in the complete Bible, what he's going to do, what his intentions are. So yes, it is redemptive, and then it is transformative. There's no other way to look at it. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why the first time that we went around the ride with this isochronal event, of course everybody knows the truth. When you go to the geologists, they can find no evidence for the children of the Lord our God having been in the wilderness for 40 years because they lack the physical evidence they were there. Does anybody not realize the contamination to the soil via ammonia when people have to go tinkle, do number one, and of course the massive evidence left behind whenever you go number two. That evidence is lacking there. This is why the Lord your God tells you illicitly that some way, somehow, their clothes did not wear out. They were standing at the end of heaven and at the end of earth. Things were mechanically not working as you would like them to. They endured. So first, what happened? That's right. They were transformed. And then they are, of course, taken across the Jordan River into the Promised Land. So this is just simply an isochronal event played out in the entire universe. It all gets rearranged. But
that's fascinating. That's really fascinating.
Right. His plan and his design and what he said is always a more grandiose arena and stage than what the liars make up.
Now,
it's always way better.
At first, I thought this was the direction you were going, that the reason they couldn't find evidence was because that they weren't really materially in the desert on this planet. They were like in another dimension. But then as you were ending, it sounded like that they were here, but they were transformed to where they didn't leave a footprint. Which
exactly, yes.
The latter is the...
Yes. And of course the Exodus angel is there. We get it all in Revelation chapter 10. Did entire shows about that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Exodus angel there. That is why and how you know that the bride is going to be taken to the wilderness. You're just not told for another 2 chapters because chronologically speaking, he must inform the bride of a few other things there in chapter 10 and chapter 11 before she is transported to the place that has been prepared for her by the Lord her God.
And that would be the new heaven and new earth, right, is what you're saying?
No, they get transported to the wilderness for 1,260 days.
Right. I thought that, okay. I was reading more into what you were saying. I thought you were going further with the idea.
But it's good stuff. It's all right there. And there's a reason for it. I mean, when the Lord your God says, I'm going to create a new heavens and a new earth, and there's not going to be any sea, that's the end of the book. He's already prophetically explained it to you over and over and over and over and over again. So we should just be used to him doing stuff like that.
Yeah, we really do need to think about when you talk about isochronal, you're talking about cycles. Everything is in cycles, and if you want to know the future, look at the past, look at the cycles, because it's an overarching theme that keeps repeating.
Right, that's why the book of Ecclesia, has been written. Ladies and gentlemen, the book of Ecclesiastes, it tells you multiple times God says this. He likes to chase after what has been. There's nothing new under the sun. Blah, 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 blah. He tells you several different ways. That's why the 666th chapter in the Bible is there in the book of Ecclesiastes.
What has been will be.
That's right. That's what he said with his own mouth. It's just that they don't believe it today, theologically speaking. They either believe in futuristic eschatology or, of course, as the preterists believe, historic eschatology. They're both wrong. The truth is combining the two together. That's the truth. That's what God said. He said that everything is just as, it's the Maya that made it very popular. People didn't realize this, way before 2012, that that's what the Mayas believed. And guess what? They believe the truth. Time is isochronal. It does go in cycles. Round and round we go. You can prove this. Of course, my favorite object lesson is to give is, ladies and gentlemen, you need to go back to 70 A.D. A lot more happened there than you think. That was an isochronal event. When you go back to Sennacherib, it completely, through shadow and silhouette, completely mimics that event to the point that Josephus himself, and of course, chapter 10, verse 10, he tells everybody that this is an answer to Daniel's prophecy because he knew that it was again a fulfillment of what Antiochus Epiphanes had done before and what the mighty Sennacherib had done the first time around the ride. You can get this all the way through. You'll take note that the person in question of rebellion, he is the one that completely slaughtered the Roman 12th Legion. You need to look up your history books because that is the Assyrian Legion. That's what happened. How did he die? He was murdered at the hands of the other two leaders of the Jewish rebellion. They murdered him in the temple of the Lord his God. This is a complete and absolute silhouette of what happened to Sennacherib. Sennacherib was murdered in the temple of Nisroch, of course, by his two sons. So instead of it being sons, it was brothers. Prophetically, it's just off the charts. It's a complete shadow and silhouette of the Sennacherib event. Here, God sticking his finger in your eye. Eschatology is isochronal. That's what he says with his mouth. So we see this, we can just, oh, good grief. I can just go on and on and on and on, on and on and on and on and on. But, and I don't want to, just beat it to death, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, please take a gander at the book of Ecclesiastes, and you will see both in the Hebrew and the Greek. Just look there. Just take the time to look there, and, he makes everything perfectly clear, what his intentions are, especially with time. He makes it known there. So, it's exciting what he's actually going to do. He comes right out and tells you. And he has woven this theme throughout the entire Word of God to make sure you get it right by the end. So by the time you get to Revelation chapter 21, you know exactly what his intentions are, which is good. You see, because, ladies and gentlemen, no one can see God face to face. So that's the whole purpose. You must realize that the Bible is true. And this is what God said. That after the 1,000-year reign of Christ, God himself comes down, baby. And when he gets here, a thing must be reorganized because nothing imperfect can withstand the mighty blast of his presence because he is the Lord. He is God. Besides him, there is no other. And in his presence, there may be no sea, no tree, no blade of grass that has been polluted by imperfection. So please read the end of the book. You are going to be face to face with the Lord your God forever and always. Amen. But in order for that energy sustainment to work, he has to completely upgrade first the Earth, then our solar system, then the entire Milky Way galaxy, and then the entire universe. Or I assure you that, Sirius, the dog star Sirius, it cannot withstand his presence, yada, 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 yada. I just can't. You need to look up, go back to the beginning and see what he says about his presence. No one may withstand it. No one. But he wants to be with his bride and his son. And that's what he's going to get. Because he is God, and besides him, there is no other. And there is no hope for anyone to have intentions other than what he has already decided. That's the way it's going to be. And it's by far better than any sci-fi flicks like Doctor Who or Star Trek. It completely surpasses that. So when we understand that he is the event horizon of life, you have to understand that he is also the event horizon for all mass and energy. He is the focal point. He is the dead center of gravity. He's the dead center of the light. He's dead center of life. So we're all going to have a serious upgrade to his level. And the way this is accomplished, of course, is through the sacrifice of his Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's how that's all accomplished. And it's amazing, Johnny. It's absolutely amazing.
It is incredible. I guess before I leave this alone, I guess I'll bring our friend Doug Overmeyer into the discussion. Because I wanted to ask you what you thought of his opinion on it. And so we're in this. It's not really a debate. We're just having a discussion, and I'm thinking that it's a new heavens and a new earth. It's not overhauled heavens and overhauled earth. And they're trying to present their case, and I immediately thought of you and our study in Isaiah 24, and I said, yeah, but what are you going to do about Isaiah 24, where it says the earth is clean dissolved and is no more? And it falls and shall not rise again. What are you going to do with that? So Doug Overmeyer weighed in. He says, well, it seems likely that the earth, in quotes, in Isaiah 24 means the land, as the word is often mistranslated, or is often translated. The passage is about is about Israel, Judah being destroyed and emptied because of their failure to uphold the covenant. The passage speaks about Jerusalem and Mount Zion. It references the earth in the midst of the nations. So that's where his case for it being the land, I guess. Again, seeing the land of Israel makes sense here. This is the overall theme of Isaiah. And he said, Isaiah, remember, was written not long before God brought Babylon to do just that to the land and to empty the land of people. If you're a 6th century Jew, the earth was your land, and heaven and earth, the temple, actually, that is the view that the Jews had all along. I wrote back, I said, Isaiah 24 is pretty much the go-to chapter for the day of the Lord. And to equate it with the Babylonian captivity, I said, I don't even think Augustine would do that. And then I said, allegory, paying your bill.
No, not allegory. Like I said, his short-sightedness is complete.
Okay.
He is a preterist, okay? And he is believing that is a historical event. And he is correct, it is and it is the perfect shadow of what is to come on a more grandiose scale.
That's what I thought.
Yes, he is correct. That's why we have reference back to Babylon in other chapters, of course, when at the end you're supposed to know the difference. You're supposed to know everything that God ever said, by the way, in Hebrew. Perhaps he should learn that and read the whole thing. But this is why the Lord, of course, went out of his way to tell us that at the end time, it will be a haunt for all of the wicked and unclean spirits. That didn't happen with the destruction of Babylon, boys and girls.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
No, that has not happened yet, but it will. And that's our call sign that this is an isochronal event. The first time it became a place, and by the way, why it was done that way is because they sowed salt. Did he know that? Does he know his archaeology?
He's fairly knowledgeable. Doug Overmeier's a pretty good guy, but I don't know if he may or may not. I remember that the Babylonians sowed salt into the land so that they couldn't use it.
And that's what they had done to them.
Okay.
It's exactly what they had done to them.
That's a dirty trick.
Well, we also must remember that that prophecy hasn't ever come to its completion because we do have, through archaeology, we have the superstructure foundation of many of the buildings there, and the Lord our God said, she's coming down, completely desolate. That's what he said. So those buildings that you see all over, well, go to any archaeological website and look up Babylon itself, the place where Alexander the Great died. He did that for a reason. The Lord your God did that for a reason, by the way. He didn't die in Greece. He didn't die in Egypt. He died in Babylon for a reason, so you would know what was to come. But yes, he is quite correct about Isaiah talking there about the first time this isochronal event was instituted. Like I said, he should try reading the Hebrew of Ecclesiastes, and it would be explained to him in the utmost. I can just give, light commentary on the matter. Please get, and he is obviously capable of doing so because he looked into the Greek word for, what was there. The Hebrew word there for land. So it's just not one word. That's actually on the order of 557 words that he needs to read. So his study is just beginning, and it's a wonderful process. It's a beautiful thing to go the whole 9 yards, so to speak. But yes, he is quite correct with the historical analogies of what happened to Babylon. But yes, this is why, of course, those two famous chapters are written about there in Revelation. Make no doubts about it. God wasn't lying when he wrote Revelation chapter 17 and 18. He wasn't lying to anybody. He fully intends to make himself perfectly clear come that day. The day, in fact, that Isaiah 24 is telling him about. Good stuff and good reply there from Doug. He was absolutely on time and on target with his historical references. Good stuff.
Yeah, shame on me. I should have realized that had been fulfilled, like Matthew 24 in 70 AD. All of these, really, like the prophecies, about the Assyrian, those were all fulfilled. And now, one thing that really poked out to me, I think that I've just learned, I may have been coldly aware of it, anyway, but one thing that really stuck out in your presentation there was that when you are looking at something that's isochronal, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it means cyclical, or really more commonly dual fulfillment, triple fulfillment, poly fulfillment, something that's prophesied happens, but it'll happen again. It means a lot more than just the immediate prophecy, because we can see a prophecy made, and then we can see how it comes to pass. If we keep reading our Bible historically, we can see that. Yet we also realize there's a dual fulfillment. a lot of times it's a prophecy of the end times.
Cats will do anything for the irresistible taste of temptation.
What have I got going here?
What are you doing?
I have got a kitty. I've got a kitty.
Iron baby.
Cats can't resist.
Where did that come from?
I have no clue.
Cats will do anything for the irresistible temptation. Yeah, I got a cat in my neighborhood that always comes over for my chicken kitty treats. So, just a shout out to my my girl Princess Bitey. Anyway, what poked out to me as you were saying that really got me was that when you are reading a prophecy that you can see was fulfilled, like Isaiah 24, like Matthew 24, historically, the one way you can spot that it's isochronal, that it's got a dual fulfillment, is there's some little thing that didn't get fulfilled. Right?
Right.
And then you can go,
that's what I just said.
Right. And that's what poked out to me. That was the big takeaway that I had from that. And that's pretty important little tool of discernment that a guy studying the Bible should have. Once they see that one or two items that we can look back and say, well, that part wasn't fulfilled, then we know that it's speaking to another a future prophecy.
Right, and he always does that. He leaves his calling cards as to whether it's shadow or silhouette. Always.
That is very cool. I wonder if that little tool is commonly known among the listeners. Maybe it's something that I've just missed. I think I was coldly aware of it, but that really stuck out when you were saying that. I was like, wow, that's a good point. I mean, because, if you look at Matthew 24, you can see that most of those things were fulfilled in 70 A.D., but, there are a few things that you can say, no, that doesn't fit. And there's your calling card to show, look, he was talking about an end times prophecy here, a dual fulfillment.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yep.
That's, okay. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
It's awesomely cool. Because, well, he's like kind of cool, actually.
So, Charles and Doug, my apologies, and I told you so. Both.
That's it up, man.
What's up?
And if you got a problem with it, just go down to Juarez and see the Bubbas.
Oh, yeah. Meet me down in Juarez, guys. We'll talk about it down there.
Let's talk about this word land here just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug failed to tell you that is the word for land that's used in, Genesis 1:1. Okay? So, and especially this particular case, the way it is here, the way it's formed, the way it's used, you should probably know that it is in the feminine singular absolute in the Hebrew tongue, just in case. But, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that word there, and I'm talking about the exact form used in Isaiah chapter 1, where Doug said that just meant Israel. Let me see here. That's in Genesis 1:1. It's in 11:12. How many times is it in there? I can't remember, Johnny, off the top of my head, but if I remember correctly, it's in there 5 or 6 times. So, no, he's not talking about Israel. He should have looked up the case and the form in the Hebrew, and then he would have immediately had a clue. Hey, by the way, God also used that exact word in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, actually. Verse 1.
The heavens
no,
and the
that's
earth.
not about Israel. No, it was never about Israel. Never. That's about the earth. Now listen, this is very key for Doug there. He needs to understand that this is the habitable land. So by extrapolation, we're not talking about the top of Mount Everest, because there, of course, you will die if you don't take oxygen with you. Nor is he referring to the Challenger Deep that lies, of course, 5 miles straight down below the waves. We're not talking about it here. We're talking about what he has made for a habitation for people. So just take note of that.
Interesting.
So it's a whole lot deeper. There's a reason why the completeness of this Bible source code, ladies and gentlemen, this is in the Hebrew translation, of course, all over the book of Revelation. This exact form, and I mean the exact form. So I'm not talking about something with a different prefix or suffix. This exact form is in Revelation exactly 40 times. And Doug should, his eyes should perk up. His ears should quicken, because everybody knows about 40, right? That's right, the 40 years in the wilderness, of course, and on and on and on we go. God does these things to prove himself to his children, which, of course, is going to be biblified when she becomes the bride. So it's just all over the place. It's exciting. It's exciting to look at. It's exciting to see it with your own eyes whenever he does that sort of thing. And he does it all the time. So it really is kind of exciting for me, anyway, to talk about such things.
Oh, it is very exciting. That's like my favorite thing is Isaiah 24. I mean, that not the I'm more interested in the very end of the book. You know, the total ending. You know, the new heavens and new earth, and I mean, there's a lot of mysterious, unknown stuff there. You know, there's a lot. That's an area that really I haven't heard a lot of people do much on. You know, I think you are just about the only one that I know of that really has gotten really into that. Because these things are even beyond our imagination almost.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's way better than Doctor Who or Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
way better stuff. You know, I mean, everything with what he says about the circle of the Earth in itself. Wow.
Well, yeah, it's about that. What's that about?
Well, well, ladies and gentlemen, everything is based on the center point. Like I said before, he's the event horizon, and everything revolves around him. That's why you can get, of course, I made a map. I think it was for one show. Maybe it was for Ghani's show that I made a map of the circle of the Earth. It is the Earth stretched out flat on a plain with Israel in the middle, and of course Noah's North Pole as true north. And when you look at that, you can see so many different things. You can see why he uses the number 144, why that is in direct relation to the 1/3. It just makes mechanical sense when you're able to stretch out the heavens in the same exact way, because when you do that, when you take a map of the heavens or what you see with your eyes, and you do exactly that, stretch it out like I did that map, it is absolutely mind-boggling. You can see why it is that he has set up degrees in a 360-degree fashion, this, that, the other, time itself. You can see time that way. It's so much better than the Super Bowl. It way surpasses, the World Series.
So the Lord, your God, is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemy.
Oops,
Johnny did it again.
I was queuing up our break music. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and bam, I interrupted Matthew. Blinky D interrupted you. So, I mean...
Yeah, Blinky.
Telling you, man, that Blinky. What's up with that guy, anyway?
I don't know what his deal is.
But now I'm kind of interested in that. So if you take the Earth and you stretch it out on a flat plane with Israel right in the dead center,
right?
What kind of why is it different? I mean, cover a couple items that are really interesting about that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, everybody knows about David Flynn's work, The Temple at the Center of Time, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's that. It is the map to that, actually.
And,
in a nutshell.
What is a feature that really pokes out that's different than looking at the Earth as a ball?
Well, because it must be distorted. You must make the edges wider than the center. which actually makes it the apple of his eye. So, dimensionally speaking, when you look at a map done this way, you realize why he calls it the apple. The rest, as you go out toward the edges, is stretched out. It is expanded. It must be done so because you cannot take a globe and stretch it onto a flat surface.
Right, and that's where you get those world maps where they show it folded into ovals.
Right, that's right. That's right. But
if you put it out on flat, it looks like the shape of an apple?
Well, like I said, the only perfect dimension that you would be able to perceive would be right at the center of it, right on the Temple Mount.
Oh, right, because everything else would have to be stretched.
It's stretched out.
Whoa.
Just like he said. You understand? That's what he said.
Whoa.
He has stretched it out. So, I thought, you know what? For the Iron Show listeners, I'll go back and I'll dig up that map of the apple of the eye, and I will. I'll just post it on Johnny's wall, so it'll be Johnny's picture.
Have you ever tried to, let's say you stretch so you have this everything else from the center. When you take a globe and then you put it on a flat plane, then everything else has to be distorted except for the very center.
Except for the apple.
What if you undistorted it? Would it have any interesting features as to what's oriented with what?
Well, yes, Johnny. And this is why David, of course, kept his distance measurements within, so much space of the apple. That's why he was able to make such amazing calculations there. But if he had the distortion rate and the curve, because it curves spatially, geometrically speaking, the farther you get out from the center, the more distorted it becomes. If he would have known that curve, oh my goodness, what he could have been able to do with time itself. He would have been able to, go places no one has ever gone before. Literally speaking. So it's very important that people understand that when God says something, he's being absolutely truthful in what he says. It's just we don't understand it. It's usually we do not understand what he's talking about. We can't perceive what it is that he means. But once it's explained to somebody, like this map, once you see it with the center point as the Temple Mount, things become perfectly clear.
Does the antipole figure into that?
Oh yes. This is why I always call it Golgotha. I also have pictures of that. The antipode to the Temple Mount, ladies and gentlemen, you look below the waves, and right there is a Golgotha. It looks exactly like a skull. Because when he that sitteth upon the throne, when he rides the wave, it's got to have an exit point. This denotes, of course, back to Isaiah chapter 24, of course. We must rip whenever we expand to our royal dimensions. So we're basically going to expand. This planet will expand 1/7. It will expand.
Wow.
So when you know all this, you realize the only way that could happen is if it was to happen in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The middle of the sea, actually. That's the only place where we could sufficiently rip, because that hot magma, of course, will immediately hit that pressurized water, because you realize how deep it is. Water cannot freeze at that depth because water expands. It's underneath so much pressure down there at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, it cannot freeze. So when that supercooled water down there, and of course underneath that much pressure, hits that pure hot magma, it's what's going to save you. God's not trying to kill everybody. That's not what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's going to cut those days short.
Right, that's actually going to save us.
So, and how would that save us?
Well, if it was to expand, let's say right through the United States of America, well, Johnny, our atmosphere would be game over.
Yeah, we'd have a nuclear winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
God's not trying to kill you, Johnny.
Oh. So it would have to be basically in the middle of the Pacific.
Right. And guess what,
part.
ladies and gentlemen? Go look it up. What is the remotest part on this planet? It is the antipole to the Temple Mount.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the antipole to the Temple Mount, if you took the Earth as a ball and placed a pin through the temple in Jerusalem, it would come out the other side. Now, it would come out the other side. The temple is in the northern hemisphere, just barely. It's about the latitude of Mexico City. So if you put a pin through it, the pin would poke out on the other side of the Earth in the southern hemisphere. It'd be the South Pacific somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's South 144.
South 144? And that's basically
right,
dead center in the middle of the Pacific, basically?
Yes.
Wow. I know that if you stayed in the northern hemisphere and poked a pin through it, the Temple Mount, you'd come out in Hawaii. But that's not the antipole. The antipole, it would have to be direct through dead center, so you'd come out in the southern hemisphere in the ocean.
Through the center of the core.
Right.
Your pin would have to go start at the Temple Mount and go right through the center of the core. When it come out on the other side, that's the antipode.
Whoa. And you're saying that if you look at maps of that, you can see like a shape of a skull beneath the waves.
Yeah.
And it's like, how big would the skull be if you were to say like how many miles across would you think it would?
Well, that's a good question. I never calculated it.
Oh,
but now
pretty
I will.
big? Pretty big, like the size of a state, maybe?
You can see it from satellite quite easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can see it from satellite quite easily. I'll get that picture up on your page tomorrow or this weekend. I'll have to find it first. But, yeah, I won't upload them to Facebook. I'll post them to your wall, so they'll be your pictures.
Is the skull a depression there?
Yes, it is a raised place, and, of course, where the two eye sockets are, there's a depression. Where the nose is, there's a depression. It looks just like a skull.
Wow.
Looks just like Golgotha, actually.
Wonder where the exact antipole is, in the mouth or the nose, or do you happen to know that?
Like I said, I'll send you the picture, then you'll know.
Okay. You'd have to have the exact latitude pinpointed right there, and then you could see the exact point.
Yeah, I could do that.
That'd be incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying that when the Earth splits, that super cooled water is going to go down into the magma.
That's right, and save us all.
How will it save us?
Well, like I just said, if that was to happen on dry land, our atmosphere would be done.
But in the middle of the ocean, what do you think? What effect would that produce in the atmosphere?
Has anybody seen a nuke that's gone off under the water?
Yeah, like a Bikini Atoll.
Yeah, that's going to stretch. That great big mushroom cloud is going to stretch for literally thousands of miles. And by your eyesight, it will look as if the sky is receding like a scroll.
Whoa!
Right.
Whoa! Revelation on the Iron Show. Opening Johnny's eyes.
Yeah, it's all true. Yeah, what he said is true.
Wow! Now I finally get that verse.
Well, there you go.
It would look like that. Somebody posted a YouTube video of a volcano exploding in I think it was in the Atlantic. You saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It was island, and it did look like the sky was like scrolling.
Yeah,
Did you see
will.
That? Wow. So now you do that on a giant scale. The whole sky, I mean, anywhere you were on the Earth, you'd see it, right?
You would see that rolling of that moisture. Wow. Yeah.
But it would only be water. I mean, it would...
Right, it'd be water vapor and not very toxic, lethal fumes.
Yeah,
that would kill us all.
And particulate land, which would put us into a nuclear winter for, 100 years and freeze us all to death.
Well, when the mighty Krakatoa blew her foundation, when God decided to rip her off the map, he didn't like it anymore. When it blew back in the 1800s, ladies and gentlemen, that was the year without a summer. Look it up. It's, once again, it's in the history books. Look up Krakatoa when she blew.
Right, but if you had an event like the Isaiah 24 event happen like over the United States or Africa, I mean, you would have literally snowball Earth.
You'd have snowball Earth. It'd be game over.
Yeah.
Because we would not be able to, ladies and gentlemen, please just ask a farmer. Okay, there is a point by which you can't produce enough food to feed everybody. After the third year, it'd be game over. I mean, after 3 years of lost crops, your stores would be empty. Look it up. We have 9 billion people to feed.
Yeah, never mind the 60 below zero.
Right. We could not grow crops.
Yeah.
And without that, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that, well, the hay, that the horses and the cows eat, no, there'd be no photosynthesis. So they would starve to death, too.
What about the giant worldwide underground cities? They'd last a little while, but not nearly long enough.
Like I said, 3 years.
3 years.
3 years. And their food stores would be gone.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, you need sunlight. You do. You personally need the quite particular vitamin D that the sun can only give. And without it for 3 years, look it up, by all means. By all means, go to Indiana State University. It is the foremost university for the medical sciences. Go there and look it up. Go there. See what you can see.
Now, okay, you know what I was just immediately thinking is if the earth literally split into when the, Isaiah, it says clean dissolve, but you were telling me, a long time ago that actually means split in two.
Right.
And from that, and that's what you're talking about now. You're talking about it splitting in two, and the splitting under the antipole of the Temple Mount, under the deep, super cold ocean in the Pacific, hitting the magma, blowing up in gigantic water cloud all over the whole earth, sky receding like a scroll. Do you think if it was that much force, do you think perhaps it could go high enough into orbit to freeze like the antediluvian canopy shell?
Well, everybody needs to go back. Okay, they need to go back to 2010, and please look this up. You can find it. As of 2010, our ionosphere had collapsed by 24%. God is already prepping you for doing exactly that, Johnny. Okay, and everybody gets real quiet when I say that, locally. I hate to tell you, but you can look it up.
Explain that a little bit.
Our ionosphere has collapsed by 24%. It is one quarter closer to the surface of the Earth than it was before 2010. And the readings have it now. I mean, it's already lower than that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just telling you the truth. God's prepping for exactly what Johnny just surmised. And he is going to do it.
It may set up an antediluvian type canopy again, an ice shell?
Oh, well, the Lord your God tells you that 1/3 of the sun and 1/3 of the moon is going to be blocked out for a reason, Johnny. What, you didn't believe him? Look.
Oh,
if you don't believe
I
him,
believed it, but I didn't know the mechanism.
Look, if you live up north, go outside in the morning, in the middle of December, you're going to get in your car, and guess what? There's going to be frost on the window. Tell me, can you drive with that frost on your window, Johnny?
No. I got to scrape it with my credit card.
Well, God's not going to let you scrape it.
But that would be if we had. Okay, now here's my imagination going. If we had the ice shell back in orbit, or the antediluvian canopy, that would set up a pre-flood world, and that would enable all these
Johnny.
long lives that are
Johnny.
talked about in the Millennial Kingdom, right?
Johnny, the Lord your God, he sent his son, and his son said this to you point blank range. There's no reason for me to debate his son. He warned you this: you are going back to the days of Noah. Okay, you don't have to like it, Johnny, but he did tell you that.
Yep.
Okay, think about everything you just said. It's like, duh, Johnny, duh.
You know, Johnny's slower than the other boys. That's what Dad used to say.
What's up?
All right, we're going to hit
man.
that some more when we get back. Why don't we take a break here? Let's play some Blinky D, a couple Blinky D tunes, and you can freshen up, get yourself something to drink, do whatever, and we'll come back in about, let me see, 2 songs worth. What do you think?
Cool.
All right, baby. Let's bring up some Blink. Let's bring up the Blink Master. Okay, Blinky D, my boy, Blinky D, blinkyd.com. That's blinkyd.com. One more time. It is blinkyd.com. You can go there and you can download his album. And go over there and why don't you buy a few songs from that boy? He could use your help. So this is one of my favorite songs in all history. I'm not into rap at all. I'm an old rocker. But I tell you what, I can listen to some Blinky D. So this song is called Victory. It's my favorite cut off his album. Let's go here. Blinky. Bring it on, my boy Blinky.
For the Lord, your God, is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 4. Victory is what we receive when we open our eyes to who deceives. Fall to your knees, we beg, we plead. Thank you for the blood your body bleeds. Victory is what we receive when we open our eyes to who deceives. Fall to your knees, we beg, we plead. Thank you for the blood your body bleeds. King of all kings, my Lord, my Messiah. That voice that you hear when that bush is on fire. Top of the temple, Satan tried to get him. Here to save the people when it all looked grim. They were living by the law, not by the faith. Looking for their king, didn't know he's so great. Showing off in public, not true in their heart. Praying for an end, it was a new start. It was a promise that they didn't understand. Wasn't here to punish, he was true for all man. He was the son of God, yeah, he was the saint. Defied all the people when he took his father's name. He is the greatest, sitting high up on his throne. When is he coming back? Not even to him is known. Waiting for his return, 'cause we get the victory over the fallen and the world that he deceived. Victory is what we receive when we open our eyes to who deceives. Fall to your knees, we beg, we plead. Thank you for the blood your body bleeds. Victory is what we receive when we open our eyes to who deceives. Fall to your knees, we beg, we plead. Thank you for the blood your body bleeds. He comes inside us, guiding us with the Spirit, leading us all paths. With him we never fear it, sending us his son, leading us with his grace. It was sufficient, sending him all our praise. Placed up on that cross, he was killed for our sins. Satan thought he was, Jesus' death was our win. He rose in 3 days, validating every word. It was proved right, everything they thought absurd. Sent the apostles, spread the word to everyone. Didn't matter who they were, bring the others to the sun, letting all men be saved. Gentiles welcome to, opened up heaven to all those who know it's true. So run to Jesus when you have nowhere to go. Tribulation is the only way we grow. He gives salvation when you ask him to forgive. Takes you from death, so for him we live. Victory is what we receive when we open our eyes to who deceives. Fall to your knees, we beg, we plead. Thank you for the blood your body bleeds. Victory is what we receive when we open our eyes to who deceives. Fall to your knees, we beg, we plead. Thank you for the blood your body bleeds. I praise the Lord for what you've given me. Grace, your wisdom, your strength, and my family. Tell them with these words that I try to spread your name. No need for money, I got no need for fame. Let me spread your word really all across the land. Send me to preach to the kids, the women, the men. Father, you're giving me everything in my history. So when I die with you, I live in victory. Victory is what we receive when we open
that's my boy Blinky D, blinkyd.com. Right, you know, it's gonna be some awkward moments while I cue up another one of his tunes. Let me see here. Let's drag this one in here. I had to download it because I lost it on my secondary machine. I had some issues with my secondary machine, so there we go. Society. I love this song. This is off his album too, the same album.
Lord, you know me better than anyone does. Or whether they call me Dustin T, Blinky D, or even Cuz, you know what's on my mind, you know what's on my heart. You know everything from the very, very start. You sent us your son to bring us salvation. Preach to everyone, to all of the nations, of how to live and how to act. Every word is true. It has to be a fact that you are the way, the path to follow. I understand for some it is hard to swallow that there is a God. He's bigger than us. He brought us from the earth, raised us from the dust to worship him, to bring him pleasure, to serve him every day, not at all leisure. He's such a gift. He gave us his grace. He knows all of us, recognizes every face. Society and everything that it is, oh, everything it was before what was his is dead to me. It's buried and gone. That's why I put him in every word of my song. Society and everything that it is, oh, everything it was before what was his is dead to me. It's buried and gone. That's why I put him in every word of my song. Take me, Lord, and mold me into your likeness. Cause for so many years I know that I've been fighting this, pretending to be deaf, acting like I'm blind, writing false truths, no reasons for my rhymes, just writing these lines, making it sound good. Trying to make money, keep it real for the hood, but it's all fake, trying to be so real. Lost in myself, not knowing what's the deal. Everything falling apart, everybody says I'm cool. The smarter that I got, the more I was a fool. Society tells me this is the way I need to act, that they know best, just believe it as a fact. If I lose self-control, then that means that I'm growing. Don't think before I act, just keep free-flowing. I'm in control of everything I do. Unless it goes wrong, then I'm supposed to blame you. Society and everything that it is, oh, everything it was before what was his is dead to me. It's buried and gone. That's why I put him in every word of my song. Society and everything that it is, oh, everything it was before what was his is dead to me. It's buried and gone. That's why I put him in every word of my song. Jesus came to save us all. You better listen up, you better heed the call. Cause once he came, now he's only coming once. You don't wanna be left behind looking like a dunce. You wanna be where you're caught up in the sky, so you can be with him learning how to fly. You want him to be able to call you a saint. He don't wanna hear how you thought he came. Saved the soul of every person alive before the body will fail, but the soul survives. And that's the fact that you have to be living with, that he brings salvation. It's one of his many gifts that he gives to you, really a charge. It may sound small, but it's really so large. Accept his gift, repent of your sins, and start doing Jesus instead of the trends. Society and everything that it is, oh, everything it was before what was his is dead to me. It's buried and gone. That's why I put him in every word of my song. Society and everything that it is, oh, everything it was before what was his is dead to me. It's buried and gone. That's why I put him in every word of my song.
Oh yeah, my boy Blinky D. Give it up for Blinky D, man. BlinkyD.com to everybody, man. Go to Blinky D's website, BlinkyD.com. Once you download that album, once you buy that album off him, and it's only like, it's cheap. It's cheap. You can buy each song for like $1. And I'm telling you, that whole album is just awesome. I mean, take it from me, I don't even like rap. But I tell you what, I got me a soft spot for that Blinky D material. I'm going to tell you what. It's really, when you're really down, I mean, put on Victory, man, it'll pick you up. I don't care what kind of music you're into. You put on that Victory, I'm telling you what, that is some serious spiritual a shot in the arm right there. So blinkyd.com, everybody. You know, Blinky sent me a text. He's like, you know, man, I see I got like I had like 25, 35 plays on Spotify last week, and I earned 0.4 cents. I'm like, dude, that is so sad. Is that sad or what, Matthew?
That's ate up, man.
That's brutality. So go to blinkyd.com and buy his album. Buy a couple songs at least. Buy Victory. It only costs you $1. Victory in Society. There's $2 right there. I'm telling you, man, worth every penny. Worth twice
Okay,
that.
you talked me into it. Tomorrow, of course, I have to work today I work 13 and a half hours. So tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I personally will buy Blinky D's entire album, whatever it is. Doesn't matter to me how much it costs. I'll buy it. Because his rap leaves all the others in the dust.
Oh, yeah.
That's fact. So, you know.
That Blinky D. Nothing like that Blinky D. You know, although, I mean, he won't follow my advice. He keeps asking me for advice and then not listening to me. I said, dude, you've got to glam up. I go, you can't just expect to be able to make it big wearing that retarded polo shirt. That's not going to work. What's up? Oh, yeah.
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yep.
I was like, yo, Blake, you still wearing that tard shirt?
Yep.
He's listening right now. He's gonna kick my ass. But hey, I heard from I got a hold of Rabbi Mike, and so yeah, he's really having trouble. He's battling a monster that's tearing apart his life. So he's got a bad guy that's really messing with him. So everybody pray for Rabbi Mike. He's having a tough time. So anyway.
Tell him to send the bad guy my way, man.
I know, man. Send him to Matthew Miller. He'll straighten him out.
We'll handle that lickety-split. Not a problem.
Ain't gonna be nothing but a thing. So I'm gonna say shalom to Rabbi Mike, and I think that I'm gonna have mercy on Matthew Miller, and just keep him for a little bit longer and let him go to bed because it's late where he is, and he's been working all day. Probably put in 12, 13 hours today.
I did 13 and a half today.
Oh man,
I left at 5 o'clock. I left at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got back at 6:30.
Well, let's roll another 5 minutes and cut you loose because we gotta have mercy on our dear boy Matthew here.
Yeah. Nobody else does. I don't know why you should. But.
Well, because God is merciful to me. I gotta have mercy on everybody I can.
Amen.
Isn't that one of the Beatitudes?
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. They shall obtain mercy. Yes, he's quite clear in what he says there. Like he always is. But let us be mindful of what Rabbi Mike and I talked about just a few weeks ago. Mercy outweighs judgment. It does. Yeah, it really does. I mean, and love covers a multitude of sins.
Yes, it does.
That is hard to say without teeth. But a few more weeks when I get back from Juarez, baby. Telling you what, man. I'm going to be speaking like a regular professional.
Like a regular professional. I've never met one of those before.
Well, before
a regular
we go,
professional. There's nothing regular about Johnny, that's for sure.
I remember in the 70s, Mickey Rooney played a retarded guy named Bill. And my dad used to go on and on about Bill. He loved that movie. It was like a TV movie made for TV. And Bill, one of the things Bill said, someday I'm going to be like a regular good man.
A regular good man.
A regular good man. I'm going to be like a regular good man someday. Someday I'll be smart like a regular good man. My dad used to say that all the time. Well, Johnny, someday maybe you'll be smart like a regular good man.
Oh, no.
Regular good man is nothing compared to Matthew Miller.
Well, whenever you undergo the resurrection, Johnny, I mean, what's God got planned for that, man? I mean, what would a perfected Johnny be like? That's scary. What's up? He'd be perfectly loud.
He's got a lot of work
obnoxious.
to do. That's gonna take some. He's gonna have to put in overtime when he gets to me.
Seriously, man, you talk about the 8th day for real. I mean, how much more obnoxious can you be, Johnny? We don't know.
I don't know.
We cannot fathom that.
I don't. Yeah. We're trying to get. Yeah. Well, at least I'm not boring.
Exactly. I mean, how can you have a Johnny that? Oh my goodness! Just imagine what that's going to be like. That's going to be game on, baby.
I'm telling you what. I'll probably be able to play guitar a lot better. I'm hoping.
Well, hopefully, but.
And I hope Jesus has a skateboard park because I'd like to really master the half pipe.
Well, may your guitar have 10 strings.
Oh yeah, and me have 10 fingers to play all of them.
Oh yeah, yep.
That'd be good. Or just so fast that I'm like instant.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. Ingve Johnstein.
Yeah. Some Vinnie Vincent action. Yep.
Hey, you know what? Hey, before we hang it up, I got an idea. Speaking of the Beatitudes, why don't you read us the Beatitudes if you can pull them up? There's a put Matthew Miller on the spot type of thing. You think you can get at the Beatitudes easily, or should?
Do I think I could get at the Beatitudes easily?
Yeah, you got them like you probably know them by heart, I bet.
Well, you said read them, so means I got to find.
Either way.
Well, which version do you want?
I like King James myself.
Really? We always do King James, don't we?
Well, no. A lot of times we do NASB, which I also like. Excuse me.
Well, why don't we do something different, man?
Sure, do whatever you want.
What do you think the listeners want? I don't know. I guess we
maybe
could.
the Net Bible. I know that's getting kind of popular. I know that the NSV is very popular with the fringe community.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Michael Heiser likes that one a lot, I know. That's the one he likes to use.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we could go off. You know what? I've got a copy of the ABP. We could do that.
Okay.
That's something different, right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that'd be throwing it up, right?
Yeah, that'd be changing and switching it up.
I mean, is that cool with everybody, or?
Oh, I'm
no?
sure. I mean, we don't really have anybody. We don't have a chat room. We're old school broadcasting, so yeah. I mean, it's okay with me.
Oh, good grief! We're old school. Now we're old school. All right, let's go, everybody, to the
radio.
Yeah, let's go, everybody, to Matthew, the 5th chapter, of course. Let's start with what? Verse 3 would probably be the proper place to start here in the ABP. Blessed are the poor to the one in spirit, for of them is the kingdom of the heavens. Oh, that's perfect there because it is plural. Blessed are the ones mourning, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the ones hungering and thirsting for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they are the sons of God and shall be called thus. Blessed are the ones having been persecuted because of righteousness, for of them is the kingdom of the, here we go once again, heavens, plural. Blessed are you whenever they should berate you and persecute you and say every wicked thing against you and lying because of me. Rejoice and exult, for your wage is great in the, once again, heavens in the Greek. For so they persecuted the prophets, plural, before you. Good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. And I did want to say this before I left. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some important things about that word eratz. It's, of course, found in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2, and it's this way for a reason. And once I read it to you, you're going to hear it. But here, the exact same form of the word is used in Isaiah, of course, chapter 24. Do not be hasty in word or impulsive in thought to bring up a matter in the presence of God. For God is in heaven, and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. He stated it this way in the Greek for a reason, because you're supposed to know that eventually he is coming to reorganize you. Give you an upgrade permanently to a perfected status and stasis, so that you may walk with him and talk with him and be with him as he enjoys, well, at that time, I guess you might call it his grandchildren. Good stuff. Everybody say a prayer for Rabbi Mike. The Lord is with him, and lo, so am I. Whatever trouble that he is going through, I am troubled by it. And I assure you that I'm going to lose a little bit of sleep tonight over Rabbi Mike. And we all should think about his selflessness that he continually displays. Rabbi Mike is quite an amazing servant of the Lord his God. He is, by every stretch of the imagination, a better man than I. So please remember Rabbi Mike in your prayers this week. And may every issue that he have, may it be resolved before the Sabbath falls. But hey, as for me and Johnny, we love you. We love doing this stuff because he loves you. He loved you first, and then he loved Johnny, and he loved me, and we decided to give it back for just a little while here for a little over an hour on the Iron Show. Johnny?
All right. I would just like to say to the listener out there, if you're on the fence, about being a Christian, maybe you're thinking about considering asking Jesus into your heart, I just wanted to tell you, Jesus, he's not like a lot of these, Christian punks out there.
Crusaders.
There's a lot of, I didn't want to become a Christian because every Christian I knew was really a butthole, if you ask me. I never knew any nice ones, not any real ones like you. I just knew the mean ones. And
Crusaders.
And so I just want to tell the listener, if you're on the fence there and you're considering it, Jesus isn't like the Christians maybe that you've known. He's lowly in his spirit, and he's humble, and his burden is light, and he's knocking at your door. He says, those who, he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock, and to them who come unto me, I will in no wise cast out. I put two verses together, but it's the same death. So, if you're on the fence right now, just ask Jesus to reveal himself to you. And show that he's real, and ask him into your heart right now. And that's salvation right there. And after that, seek out good, solid Bible teachers, not these weirdos that are on these podcasts. So I'm not talking about Matthew Miller and John.
He did not just say that.
I'm just talking about these. These Hebrew roots guys and these legalists and it's such a okay. Seek out somebody that's not like Johnny, okay?
Yeah.
Seek out somebody like Matthew Miller.
It's too late to fix it now, you knucklehead. What's up?
All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. There we are. Oh, yeah. All right.